talk about the Bristol Palin thing, or no? Just move on to Star Wars. Up to you.
No, let's just move on to Star Wars in concert.
Okay.
Michelle, we know the voice, we know the walk, and now we see him out of the costume. Anthony Daniels, better known as C3po, thank you for joining us.
Almost in another costume.
Exactly.
Nearly ready for tonight's show. You can see it all happening behind us. And you know, we were here yesterday. We saw this place naked, empty, and now look at it. It's beginning to fill with people. Soon the orchestra will arrive behind us and the choir. You can see some of our lighting effects. What a difference a day makes.
We were talking about, we've all been to rock concerts with big rigging. This is pretty much the exact same thing. There's semi-trucks backed up all the way down the street.
Great. It's, you know, to be part of this huge touring circus. There's like nearly 200 of us that sweep across America. Soon we'll be going overnight to Washington State, you know, and putting on another show. It's let's put on a show every time, and it's grand. Every night the audience is different. Every night the orchestra gets really sparky with John Williams music.
John Williams music is as iconic as the films itself.
Absolutely.
Where do you think the movies would have been without this music?
They would have been kind of a bit of an empty space. You know, the script and the acting is one thing, the scenery is one thing, but the biggest key to your emotional input as a member of the audience is John's music. And if you just look here, you'll see one of the mixing desks that actually makes his music happen live every night. The other one is outside in the back of the auditorium here, because, you know, music like that does need to be reproduced so it fills a beautiful arena like this, and it is a beautiful arena.
An 80-some piece orchestra, correct?
86-piece orchestra.
And they travel with you, whereas the choir is a local choir, right?
The choir is enormous. I mean, I hope we get sight of them coming on stage. Soon they're going to fill these rows, these back two rows behind, just in front of our giant, giant screen. You can probably see the edge of that there. That is put together out of, I don't know how many pieces, and so far, touch wood, they haven't dropped one yet.
A lot of LCD TVs.
A lot of it, huge. It's a giant LCD TV, the biggest touring in the world. Very sharp images and so on, but always it's the live content that I really go for in this concert. And we'll see the choir arrive, we'll see the orchestra arrive, and then we hear the buzz of the audience arrive. That is so good.
And you are exposing some people who probably have never heard a live orchestra to orchestra music, and when you hear it live, you hear a recording of orchestra music like that's good. You hear it live and you feel it, and it's a completely different experience.
It is, and what I love actually about having spent a few hit days here in Grand Rapids is that there's clearly a love of entertainment, clearly a love of music. You know, there was a dance group down in the, the Rosa Park there in the center. Those kids bopping away, having the best time with a charity organization put that on. That's the best fun I've had on tour, watching those guys living music and feeling it. Hopefully tonight's concert and the others we do across America will keep the love of music alive.
We are going to be talking about this more later on in the show. It is the story of Star Wars told in order, correct? Not the way George Lucas messed it up, to use your words.
He really did mess it up, didn't he? I mean, I've had to speak to him about that. You know, he's promised the next time he makes a trilogy, it'll be in the right order and all that. But I do get on stage and say, you know, long time ago. That's my opening lines. Talking about the galaxy being a great place and then falling to its doom. And we meet the little boy who becomes Darth Vader. We meet his son, Luke Skywalker, who defeats him in that famous laser battle. All that, I am your father. We'll soon hear James Earl Jones's voice, actually, at the beginning of the show. Stick around for that.
It is fantastic stuff. We will talk more with Anthony Daniels when we come back later in the show. Michelle, this was impressive, was it not?
Absolutely. And I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. You know, some people are just diehard fans, but I completely want to go now. Are you staying? Because I tell you, there are several people here who, if you're not, they want your ticket.
Well, there were some tickets available from Fox 17. Those were snapped up. If people at home are watching, there are some tickets still available. Come on down, and they've got artifacts, they got people in costume, and they got this guy. It's fantastic,
and
Michelle.
I will be fully dressed by then.
And he'll be fully dressed. All right. All right, good stuff. Thanks a lot.